I'm happy though. I'm excited.
Listen, okay. Welcome back to another episode of So Problematic. This is your girl Cece, and on this episode, your girl is rocking solo, as you can see. But don't worry, Jill be back. Don't she ain't going nowhere, okay? But I'm really not solo. I do have a special guest in the building with us. She's a fellow podcaster. She's a digital creator also, and she's evolutionary, the one and only ever evolving podcast, Miss Angela Cherie. Welcome to our platform.
Thank you, Cece. Thank you. Listen, I've never had an introduction like that. Thank you.
Listen, I'm learning. I be learning stuff.
Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely. So today I know that we talked previously about certain topics and we were kind of going over, and you actually introduced the perfect topic, I think, coming from both of our platforms together because we are Black women looking to help other Black women like us,
Right.
you
Right.
know? So the topic that you brought up and we thought it was perfect was rediscovering yourself. So, but
Woo.
before we get into that, because that one right there is gonna take a sip from Cece, okay? Before we get into that, let our audience know a little bit more about who you are and how to find you on your platform.
Absolutely. So I am Angela Cherie, the host of the Ever Evolving podcast, where we talk about life and how we evolve from struggles and all of the stuff that y'all know life be out here lifing with. The motto of the podcast is "We can't heal what we hide." So let's talk about it. And so we explored our evolution as women, as men, as couples, all of the above. And so yeah, I'm on every streaming platform. Currently in season 5, which is live on
Yes.
YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. The easiest way to find me is the Ever Evolving Podcast on Instagram.
Thank you so much. I love that. All of that. Y'all heard that? All of that, okay? She be going live this season. Y'all better catch that
Woo.
live.
Catch us.
So before we get into our episode, I know that our topic is pretty deep, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun real quick. I'm gonna ask you some fun questions,
Yes.
and let's get into the first question. If you could be a CEO of any company right now in today's society, what company you think you would choose?
Oh, Jesus. I don't know,
Let's
girl.
say a
I've
billion
never.
dollar company out there. Let me see. I would probably say, I would probably say maybe Amazon.
Amazon for sure. Um, any retailer right now because these
That's what
Black
I was
Friday
thinking
sales, they taking
too.
all my money. Okay.
All my coins.
All of it, these early Black Friday sales. So any retailer, definitely Amazon. Macy's is getting all my money right now. Like any
Yes, exactly.
um yeah, anybody who's got all my money right now. That's
Yeah.
definitely who I would be the
I would
CEO
probably
of.
say also Sephora because they be catching all my coins. My husband be looking at me like, really, again?
Just apply for a credit card. So listen, I get it.
Fact. Okay, so the next one would be if you woke up suddenly because your house was on fire, what would be the three things you would grab? The first three things off the top of your head.
My phone, probably some clothes because I usually don't sleep with clothes on. A robe,
Listen,
and my child. Definitely my
of
child.
course, of
Yes.
course. I would have to agree with those three. Let me see. Yeah, definitely my phone. My child. Well, I got two of them, so I gotta be like, I gotta yell to both of them at the same time. They come as a package. Okay. And then I'm with you with the whole clothes thing because I can't run out the house naked now. I can't let everybody see my goods.
Yeah, I just grab the robe. That's all I can get,
Just
and I
grab the
headed out
robe
the
or
door.
something, or a long t-shirt or something, just run out
Something,
the door.
something. Because I won't be out here like this. Okay.
Definitely. Okay, so last one is if you had to choose between a wonderful romantic relationship for one whole year, everything is as you wish, okay? Only for 1 year, or you would have a so-so relationship. You know, it's decent. It's okay. For the entirety of your life, which would you choose?
you know. I used to be a little toxic. So,
Go
a part
ahead.
of me still wants to say so, but I think I want to say so because I feel like if it's so, maybe I have the ability to improve it. I know that's not a part of the question, but that's
Yes.
just how I think. The overthinker in me says, well, maybe I have the opportunity to improve it, even though it's just so. Like, I'd rather have love for the rest of my life than just
Hey,
love for a year. Now, there are instances, of course, where people like marry people who have terminal illnesses and they are
yeah,
married, for a limited amount of time. And they were like, I don't regret it. That was the best thing for me. But I would want it for the rest of my life. So if it can be
exactly.
so and we can improve it, let's do that.
I agree 100%. I'll take that so, and like you said, I'm gonna have good days and bad days, which we have in society now anyway, right?
Anyway,
So why not take the so and have that for the entirety of my life rather than just
listen,
only 1 year? Who
right.
wants just 1 year?
1 year.
Nobody.
And that's a great segue a little bit. I'm not going to jump, but I'm just saying, like, what you just said was so
No, go
powerful about,
ahead.
like,
Let's get into it.
what you just said was so powerful because as I'm getting older, I keep redefining what a lot of things are, including
Mhm.
love, right? And a
Yes.
lot of us don't understand that relationships and love, yes, they have good. Yes, they're a blessing. Yes, it's amazing to be in love, but it's not pretty picture perfect like we see in the movies, on social media, these couple goals hashtags. Like, it's not just that. That is just the
Mhm.
highlight of
Yep.
relationships and love. But relationships are dirty and messy and
Listen,
hard work and effort and selflessness.
it's a constant battle. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm going
Yeah.
on 10 years of marriage.
Ooh,
It
let's
ain't
talk good, girl.
easy. It ain't easy.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
bump heads, we love each other, we cuss
Mhm.
each other out, we ignore each other. We love it's all of that.
Yeah.
But you have to want to fight for it. And both parties have to want to fight for that.
Yeah.
So with that being said, of both parties wanting to fight for that, I had to learn how to rediscover who I am. And we're
Yes.
going to jump right into it.
Let's do it.
So I want to ask you, what what does rediscovering who you are look like? What does that even look like?
At different stages, it's meant different things. But currently, I think that it's defining who I am aside from my accomplishments to date.
Mm,
It is defining who I am outside of motherhood because my daughter has like 3 more years of high school and she's out the door, and I'm looking like, where has the time gone?
yeah.
Um, but the biggest piece of it again is the defining myself aside from my accomplishments and my purpose. For the last 3 years, I felt like I've given so much of myself over to what I felt called to
Mm-hmm.
that I'm like, okay, now what? Now what's next? And I don't enjoy certain things anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't bring me joy. The working of it is like, ugh, it feels tedious, and I'd rather not. And so I'm learning that what once was like, I gotta do this. I was born for this. This is who I am. Is
Right.
now like, I don't want to do this. I don't like this. This is not who I am anymore. And it was
Yeah.
a great indicator that you need to rediscover who you are at this stage. Who you were
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago is not who you are now.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that constant growth is constant change and
Yeah.
you constantly rediscovering who you are all the time. It doesn't just stop and you're just like, oh my God, this is who I am and that's it. No, just like you said, even for myself, I had to learn that because I used to do hair, I had to learn that that wasn't my passion anymore. I was confused. I thought like this was me. And I was like, no, that's not me. Like you said, outside of motherhood, I have to know who Cece is. Who am I besides just being a mother and a wife? And a lot
Yeah.
of women don't know who they are. And I'm speaking
Ooh,
only for women because I'm a woman. We're women.
right. That's our
I can't
experience.
really speak for the men, but it does apply to them as well.
Right.
Who are you outside of your accomplishments? And I have a child that's literally graduating this year. Jesus,
Oh.
help me, Lord. Just pray for me, okay? Just pray for me, okay? All my gray hairs up under this wig. We just gonna pray for them.
Listen, I got a few back here too now. But it's that's why it's so funny how um how they say art imitates life or life imitates art, however it goes. Because when I
Mm,
started what I do, I started with a networking group called Ever Evolving Women. And
mm.
the that was the catalyst for the Ever Evolving podcast.
Oh
I
wow.
never knew in naming that how much I was going to have to live that out. Because evolution, though it's painful, though it is a constant thing, it's necessary.
Yes,
It
it
is
is.
absolutely necessary. We want a lot of things. We want to be a lot of things. We want to
Mm-hmm.
see a lot of things in our lives. But in order to get to that, we have to continuously evaluate and then evolve. And
Yes.
I'm learning that in the past it was, I want this type of relationship, but I wasn't ready for that type of man. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
literally evolve and attract something different. I've wanted to see a different group of friends in my life. Well, in
Mm-hmm.
order to do that, I had to be, less antisocial and more friendly and open myself up. So I think it's important to stress that whatever you desire, you can have those things. But a
Yes.
lot of times you're not going to have them where you are. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to evolve.
Yes. And I've learned that over the past couple of years myself. Learning, learning, you have to learn your dislikes and likes
For sure.
and not accept what society says you should be
Yes.
liking and
Yes.
disliking. And
Yeah.
this is what the now is. Like, take yourself out of that equation and find out
Mhm.
what you enjoy. Because
Yeah.
I like nature, but
Mhm.
society says no, you should be sitting here listening to all these lyrics and music and shaking your ass on all
Yeah.
these reels and stuff. That's
Right.
not who I am.
Yeah.
But sometimes we fall in those traps and we get lost
Yeah.
and not knowing who we are as individuals.
Yeah. And that's what brings on a lot of the discontentment in our lives,
Yes.
a lot of the, mental health situations. Now, some of
Oh,
it, yeah,
yes.
it's going to happen anyway. And some of it is chemical imbalances. And I'm not a doctor, so I'm not trying to diagnose anyone. So don't at me. Okay.
Okay.
But I will say from personal experience that a lot of my unhappiness came from, like you said, not asking myself necessary questions of what do you like? What do you enjoy, Angela? What I literally had someone ask me that. This is kind of what started this rediscovery journey that I'm on now.
Hmm.
And I couldn't answer. They were like, "Well, what do you like to do? And what do you like?" And I'm like, "All I do is work. I don't even know. Like all I do is work,
Mm.
and I'm a taxi cab for my daughter. I don't know what I like to do." And so I had to tell myself, like, you need to. It's okay to ask yourself these questions, especially like you said, as women, and we can only speak from our experience because a lot of times we seek to ask everyone else those questions.
Hmm.
We want to make sure our children are good. So are you good? Are you happy? What do you need mommy to do? For our
Right.
significant others, babe, what do you need? I got you. But rarely do we ask ourselves that question. And that's why a
Hmm.
lot of times we can't answer. We can answer for everybody else. We know what they need, we know what but
Yes,
we have a hard time answering it because we don't ask ourselves that.
that is true. That is
Yeah.
100% true. So, um, do you feel like people think that in order for them to rediscover who they are, they have to go through trauma first? Because I think that somebody who wants to know who they are feel like they have to maybe go through something first. And that's not always the case.
It's not because it's really the choice. Like I said
Right.
earlier, if you want to see yourself at a certain point, like for me, I just had to make the choice to say, I literally said, I'm not content with where I am and where my life is now. And I need
Mm-hmm.
to make a change. So that was a
Right.
choice. But I do feel like some people might feel that way, um, because unfortunately, just
Mm-hmm.
us being people as we are, that's the thing that gets our attention usually is the
Yeah.
trauma, the
Mm-hmm.
heartbreak from a relationship we thought would work out,
Mm-hmm.
losing a job that we thought we'd be on and would retire from. Um, a lot of times that's the like, hey, that's
Like,
the
yes.
alarm and that's the bell that says you need to make a change. We're usually pushed to change
Mm-hmm.
because we don't invite change. Ooh,
Exactly. That part. That
you better
part.
preach it here tonight. But we're usually pushed, like we have an idea, like God has given us an idea, given us a blueprint to this new business, but we're
Mm-hmm.
scared. We don't want to leave this job because it's comfortable, it's got benefits. Understandably so, we have families. But sometimes it's the firing that makes us say, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go do this. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
ahead and change the route of this career path and do this now. It's usually
right.
because we're pushed to do it. That's
Yeah.
what usually makes us say, I'm gonna change.
And that's what came to my mind when we discussed this topic, is because I noticed, and it's a pattern where somebody's not going to make a dramatic change in their life or shoot for the stars unless they have gone through something first. And
Yeah.
I think that, like you said, the statement before is sometimes if you just sit and reevaluate your life, if you're not happy with what you're doing right now,
Hmm.
that doesn't it doesn't have to be trauma related. You
Right.
can just sit here and reevaluate and just say,
Hmm.
hey, let me go back and remember what I used to like. Let me go back to those
Yeah.
hobbies that I used to do and see where my passion was.
Yeah.
Or if it's not my passion anymore, what's my next
What
passion?
is? Yeah. Trying new things. I know for myself, I've been it's gonna sound so corny, but I've been joining these Facebook groups that have, similar interests as I, and really garnering suggestions from the ladies in the group.
Why not?
I've been, following different people so that my feed looks different because I'm
Yes.
not sure how to get there, but I know what I want it to look like. So
Mm-hmm.
for those that are already there, I follow those people, not in a way to copycat, because I believe in being original. I don't play that, but as a almost like a virtual vision board every single day. So when I'm
Yes.
scrolling, I'm not looking at just the people and things around me that I'm used to. I'm
Yes.
also looking at what I desire to be. And
Mm-hmm.
I desire, again, I'm trying to discover how to get there because my path is going to look different anyway from theirs, but that's the end game. So that kind of
Mm-hmm.
helps me say, all right, feeding my, so
That's
that's
smart.
helping me just kind of looking to others. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, I don't know how to do it. I know what I want my life to look like, but I don't know how to get there.
Yeah.
It's okay to have a mentor. It's okay in
Mm.
your self-discovery to not it sounds crazy, but it's okay in your self-discovery to not just rely on yourself.
Exactly. No, no, seriously.
Yeah.
And I've had that issue for a very long time because I grew up being a single mother. So I felt like it was just always just me and my child.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had a hard time asking for help.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I still struggle with it every now and
Me too.
then.
Me too.
So for me, it's like I feel vulnerable when I ask someone for help. I
For
feel like
sure.
I'm giving a part of my strength that I've built to somebody else
Yeah.
and telling them. So it's like now that I'm learning who I am, and it's okay to say, I need assistance. I need help. Can you
Yeah.
help me with this?
Yeah.
I'm learning that. And I'm just like, you know what? It's okay because I'm sure that person who I'm asking had to ask somebody else. And
Correct.
that person had to ask somebody else.
Correct. Correct. And I think that, that's again sometimes where people push against change and
Mm-hmm.
they push against transition because it seems so hard
Yes.
and overwhelming. And a lot of times it's because we don't reach out for the tools that are available. Therapy is here for a reason. Your
Mm-hmm.
friend group, if you have friends that you can't go to, they really shouldn't be your friends. Having a
That part.
friend group that pours into you and that helps you. And I literally had a friend today. Um, I had like a lot of things going on. Like I'm working overtime and it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Lost a loved one this week
I'm
and she was
sorry.
contacting me about something. Thank you. And I said, friend, I'm fighting anxiety today. So I don't mean to be short or rude, but I will get with you tomorrow. And she just started pouring into me. And she was like, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself. She didn't get it. She didn't
Mm-hmm.
get offended. She didn't, just not speak to me. She
Yes.
just encouraged me, and that was
Yep.
it. And so sometimes we have to realize that there are tools, whether you acknowledge them or not,
Yep.
they are there for you to help you in that path of rediscovering who you are. Because again, you're having to literally reprogram. You're having to do something you've never done. You're
Mm-hmm.
asking yourself these questions that you've never asked.
Mm-hmm.
You're going into uncharted territory. You're doing things that you've never done. So to think that
Yes.
you're supposed to know how it goes is unrealistic.
Yeah. I agree 100%. That was, and to be honest, I think that the pandemic helped me pushed me in a direction that I didn't even know I wanted to go into. And I think maybe a lot more people would feel the same way because it was like a standstill. You had
Yeah.
no choice but to sit home and think, right?
Yeah.
You're left with your thoughts.
Yeah.
So for me, I learned more meditation. I learned more enjoying nature. And I found that I actually enjoy these things. Like
Mm,
who would have thought that without this pandemic, I
yeah.
probably would still been doing the same craziness that I was doing before.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think the pandemic showed me that I didn't like my life very much like I thought I did.
See?
Going out and busying myself
Mm-hmm.
masked the discontentment.
Yes.
So, like you said, when you had to sit still and I had to look at where I lived and why I was there and
Mm-hmm.
who I was with and why I was with them.
Listen, okay.
And, all of those things, I learned my child.
Mm.
Sometimes as parents, we think we just know our kids, but in the pandemic and virtual school, I learned my daughter and learned how much more she needed me than I
Yes.
realized
Yes.
because I've been so busy to see it. I learned things that I did not like about her and I did not like about me. So it let me see that
Listen.
I didn't like my life as much as I thought. It wasn't as picture perfect as I had imagined it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just always going and always in networking events and always hosting events and woo,
Yes.
woo, woo. And when I had to sit still, I was like, maybe that's why I do all of those other things because I don't like being here. I don't
People
like
don't
that
like
this
to
feels.
face themselves.
You hear me?
You look in the mirror, but who are you really looking at? I wear makeup. That's perfectly fine. That's a mask.
Yeah,
But when it's time to take that thing off, who are you really looking at? And people
right.
don't ask themselves that question.
Yeah,
Um, so I want to go more into, we're talking about how we discovered and how we're still discovering ourselves. But what do you think are some ways that we can assist the people that are listening? How can we help them understand that this might help you? Like maybe journaling. I think journaling is a good sign of trying to get some thoughts down, maybe finding
yeah,
out that you don't like something. Writing
yeah.
it down to me helps me as well.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think are
For
some
sure.
ways of helping someone discover who they are?
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think we kind of touched on that with the asking yourself questions. So if they take the journaling piece and then the asking questions piece, actually write it. And you know what? This is actually my assignment tonight. Me and my friend were having this conversation and she was like, girl, I wrote down what I like, and I said, in my mind, I'll think
Mhm.
about it, but I've never asked that to myself and actually really research the answer. And
Yes.
so I think that's a great place to start in journaling and saying, literally, when it comes to, and I would categorize it
Mm-hmm.
from your love life, your marriage, your relationship, to your relationship with your children,
Yeah.
your career,
Mm.
everything. And what do I like? What do I not like? What do I
Yes.
need more of? What do I need less of? What do I want my relationships to look like? What do I want my career to look like in 5 years? And literally
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
sit in it.
Sit
Don't
in
rush
it.
past it. Don't, take literally carve out time
Yeah.
to sit with yourself and interview yourself and
Basically,
sit with
yes.
it. Yeah, and write those answers. And then once you write those answers and you really figure out, what the answer to the questions are, start a plan.
Yeah.
Make a plan. I'm going to give my if for me, um being more expressive with my words and more affectionate is on my things like that's the part of myself that's rediscovery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I made a pact with myself for the
All
next
right.
30 days, you'll tell this particular person you love them.
Mm.
That sounds crazy, but that's not easy for me
No,
because I didn't
listen.
grow up with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so as an adult, I'm having to learn what that looks like. And some days I get it right, some days I don't. But that's my pact to myself. So when I say
Yes.
make a plan after you've asked yourself some questions, that's
Mm-hmm.
an example of what it would look like. For the
Mm-hmm.
next 2 weeks, start small. I'm a little overachiever. I'll be doing too much.
Look, start
But
small,
for the
y'all.
next 14 days, I'm going to tell this person, I'm going to greet my spouse with a smile. I'm going to make sure, that I make myself
Mm-hmm.
up. Whatever your goal is,
Yes.
um, start working on it.
I
immediately.
agree.
Don't wait. Because what we do is we
Immediately.
wait.
Yeah. Don't be talking about, oh, the beginning of 2022. We ain't trying to hear all of that. Okay.
Yeah. And nothing is promised.
That, yes, I think we've learned that. I hope that we've learned that in the past year and a half.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Biggest lesson. Biggest
Biggest
lesson.
lesson. But the reason why I said journaling is because, like, for myself, I actually did the same, where I wrote myself questions. And sometimes when you see your answer written down,
Mm, listen,
it's a reality check.
it's a reality check.
And you're like, oh, but I'm not on that right now. Well, I wonder why. You
You
know?
better talk about it.
Okay. So it's like, because you have it up here, like you said, it's always up here. You're thinking about
Yeah.
it. We're over it. We're
Yeah.
thinkers. But
Mhm.
when you see it on paper, that's when you kind of be like, oh, I'm not on that. What am I doing?
Realization. The
Yes,
realization hits. Yeah, for sure. And that's why, again, I think a lot of us don't want to do the work. It's
yeah,
work.
it
It is
is
work.
work.
Because a lot of times you have to dig deep, and there's healing, and there's so much you
Mm-hmm.
have to dig
But
into.
all these people out here asking for that Sierra prayer, I'm gonna ask you to go ahead.
And
you
Sierra
you know
has
I was
she
going with that.
she put it out there on Summer's new album, but it won't be effective unless
Mm-hmm.
you're doing your work. Because
That
just
part.
like, she had to do some work. She just didn't pray. She talks about how she did her work as in addition to the
Mm.
prayer, because faith without works
There we
is
go.
dead. All
That
right.
part.
I ain't gonna preach tonight.
Listen, we was about to get into it. I was about to push my drink away now. Hold on now.
But seriously, I think we have to realize everything. What did Jill Scott
Mhm.
say? Everything ain't for everybody. Like,
Yes.
you have to know that it's going to look different. And
Hmm.
just going off of I hope and I wish and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe in affirmations. I'm a
Hmm.
firm believer in
Me too.
speaking and manifesting, but it requires work. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to work on yourself. That's all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. Rediscover who you are as a person. That's all I'm
Right.
saying. But also, I want to include telling others or things no. If you know that you can't do something and it's preventing you from being who you are, say no. It's okay to say
Mm,
no.
mm,
I think we have a hard time saying no because we want to be accepted by
mhm.
everything and people.
Yeah. Listen, I kind of shifted in my chair a little bit, because that
I
no
see.
that no piece, I'm still working on that. Because I am a recovering people pleaser.
Me too.
And but that was, again, when you start doing your work, you learn this usually birthed out of some type of trauma, some type of
Hmm.
heartbreak, some
Yes.
type of childhood seed that you've never thought about. um but that saying no
Hmm.
in this rediscovery has been the most powerful part of the journey,
Yes.
because a lot of the things that I was burdened down with, a lot of the things that I did not like, a lot of the people that were not good for me, the
Hmm.
moment I said those two little words,
Mm.
those two little letters,
Mm.
that one word,
Mm.
no, it literally was like years of chains, years of weight that
Yep.
literally came off of me the more I started to practice saying the word
No.
no.
Yeah.
It was
Agree.
the smallest little word has such a big impact, because we should be saying no to a lot more things than we say no to.
Oh, agreed. Oh, definitely.
And
But
I know that it's hard, and I'm
hmm.
recovering. I
Hmm.
know that it's difficult, because I always felt like, well, if I say no, who's going to do it for them? Who's going to help them? Who's going to
Hmm.
be there? But the moment I said no and took my hands off, guess what? Those people figured it out.
Yep.
They learned on their own, and I had the capacity that I needed to remain full. I
Yes.
wasn't giving everything out.
Yes.
So that has been, probably saying no has been the biggest part of this journey, and I'm loving it. Now I can look you in your face and be like, no. I used to be
Listen,
like,
okay.
well, no, but then I come back and try to figure it out. Now I'm like, no, sorry, can't do it.
I had to have a reminder today because I'm still in recovery as well. And my lifelong coach had to tell me no today. She was like, I'm telling you no to tell that person no.
Yeah,
And I was just like, oh, I mean, I just was no. I was like,
no,
oh, okay. Okay, well, definitely give me my coin back, my 30-day coin. Give me that back now. I just needed sometimes you fall back into who you were before. And sometimes you
Listen,
have to have that reality check again and be like, no, sis, we're not doing that. No.
listen. That was two of the things that my therapist last year, she made me write it down. And I had sticky notes over my house and people would probably say, "Ooh, what's wrong with her?" But it was a reminder, like you said, because it's so easy to fall back into a pattern. And one
Mm-hmm.
of the sticky notes was say no. That was
Mm-hmm.
it. Just say no. And the other one was don't fall back into what's comfortable.
Yes.
So with both of those, and I would like, you know, I guess war with something, I
Yeah.
would go back to that. No, and do not go back to what's comfortable because
Mm,
both of those things will hinder your progress. And
mm.
so if you got to do that, if you got to write sticky notes around on your mirror around, I put it on
Write
my
them sticky
headboard
notes.
everywhere.
Write those sticky notes.
Yeah.
Another one I would probably say a lot of people don't recognize is letting go of toxic relationships. You have to know it's toxic first. Okay. And that's most of the time it's very obvious. The new reels and everything and the posts I see is red flags, right? I've been seeing a
Right.
whole bunch of red flags. Okay,
Right.
so we're talking red flags, but what are we doing to let go of those red flags?
Right. Listen, this is what I always say. This is what I always say. We are so quick to point the finger about what's toxic and what's not. But I'm gonna talk about me. I'm gonna talk about me. Okay.
Okay.
I ain't gonna get on y'all. I'm gonna talk about me. I told myself about a particular relationship that I was in the past. And I said a part of me had to be a little toxic to
Mm,
put up with that amount of toxicity. So a lot of times the reason why we can't let go is
mm,
because we're a part of it. It's not just the other person. We are, if not, equal, we got a little toxic nature in us too. And it's
yeah.
comfortable because it's our normal.
Mm-hmm.
Dysfunction becomes normal. Drama becomes normal because you a little toxic too, sis. And
Yes.
it's okay, okay?
Listen.
Because we are working on it, right? But I think that it's this account to me, I mean, accountability
Yes.
is huge. And so I think the one of the steps that I is huge to me in this journey is accountability to say they're toxic and they're not good for me, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little toxic too, and I'm probably not good for them either.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's being real with yourself about, like you said, the people around you and
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And if it's not you, and it is the people around you, the quicker you realize that and you acknowledge it and you become accountable and say, you know what, I probably listen, you got me.
Go
I had this
ahead.
conversation on Sunday and I said, we talk a lot about relationships and
Yes.
how we should be better about picking the right people in our lives. But that applies to friends too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That applies to family, that applies to everybody. We
Oh
have to
yeah.
apply the same principles in our romantic relationships that we apply in every other aspect of relationships and making sure that the people that are in our lives need to be there.
Yes.
And that's a hard pill to swallow, especially when it comes to family.
Oh
But like
yeah.
I tell my family, I love y'all. But a part of my self discovery and rediscovery is saying, you know what? This isn't good for me. I love you, but
Mm-hmm.
you're toxic.
Yes, I agree 100%. And for me, I would definitely have to say that that's the whole reason why I distance myself from certain family members. We family, obviously, that's not
Right,
going nowhere.
right,
But I know that you bring that type of energy that I
right.
don't need to be around.
I don't need it.
And so, therefore, you're over here and I'm
Yeah,
over here.
yeah. And one thing I tell myself is I don't have to.
Yes.
When you realize your self-worth, I think that's another piece of this self-discovery, is
Hmm.
realizing your self-worth and realizing what you don't have to deal with, that
Yeah.
you deserve to have healthy relationships. You deserve to be healed. You deserve to be whole. You deserve to have a life that is reflective of your desires.
Hmm.
Like, you deserve that. And if that means that you have to make decisions that other people won't agree with or understand, then that's their problem, not yours.
There it is. That's it. So I would definitely say just to bring up a couple more, and we're just giving examples here, guys. This is not, we're not saying this is it, but this is a part of you rediscovering who you are. But sometimes decluttering,
Mm,
decluttering your environment
yeah,
can
yeah,
also help you discover who you are, because we tend to hold on things that we thought brought value to our lives.
yeah. In more ways than one,
Oh, definitely.
huh? Ooh,
And sometimes once you ever felt that feeling of once you got rid of it, you're like,
for sure, for sure.
you know,
And I think as women, again, I can only speak about my experience. We're very sentimental,
yes.
very nostalgic, and I was when I moved, I was going through some things and I had like old love letters from like my
Mm,
first love. And I'm like, why do I still have this stuff? And we're still friends. And so I was like, bruh, can you believe I still, he's like, you still have it like over 15 years ago and I still have this. Um, and so we hold on to things in more ways
mm-hmm.
than one longer than we're supposed to, but everything has an expiration.
Yes.
Everything has an expiration date.
Yep.
And just like food, right? If you eat it beyond its expiration date, you just might could get sick,
Oh
right?
yeah.
It's
Oh
the
yeah.
same thing with life. Like sometimes when you hold on to things too long, it is detrimental.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you are allowing those things to take up space for the things that you really desire. Some of us don't
Mm-hmm.
have room. So decluttering
Exactly.
allows you to make room for the changes that you really want to see in your life.
Agree. And that pretty much sums up the ones that I thought, would help, and it has helped me. So, is there any final thoughts you would like to share to help someone rediscover themselves?
Yeah, I think this has been amazing. I just want, I guess, those who are viewing this to know that you're not alone if you
Hmm.
feel like, because I have felt like at times I should be further along.
Yes.
Like, I can't believe that I'm at this age trying to still figure X, Y, and Z out. So I just want you to know that you're not alone. It is tough work, but it's necessary work. And I promise you, you're going to love the results. After you do it, after you do your hard work, you're going to love where it brings you to for the next phase of your life. So just be encouraged and keep pushing towards this thing called life. Life is tough. Life is rough, but you have
Hmm.
everything you need to do well. You have everything you need to heal. You have everything you need to create the life that you want. I just believe that.
Yes, I definitely believe that. And I do thank you for joining me, even though I was solo tonight. But thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Once again, we definitely want someone who has heard this and wants to connect with you to find you on your platform. So share that one more time with our guests.
Yeah, so the easiest way is to find me on Instagram at the Ever Evolving Podcast. All the links are in the bio to the YouTube, Facebook, and all of those good things. And I am on all streaming platforms. Season 1 through 4 is there on every streaming platform. So
Listen, y'all go locate that, okay? And she be live, she be lit, she give you what's real, okay? She gonna leave you questioning yourself and about to go get a drink and be like, oh Lord, what my life done did to me now.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Definitely. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, bye.